The new Springfield Armory TRP 1911. Let's check it out. Today we're going to take a look at a new offering from Springfield Armory, and this is their TRP, or Tactical Response Pistol. Now, they have offered the TRP previously, but there are a number of new models that have come out. Now, the TRP was originally designed as the Professional, and this was for the FBI for their hostage rescue teams. There were a number of specifications that they wanted, and those are all in the TRP line. It is in 45 ACP. Obviously, it's a 1911. This is the Coyote Brown model. They do make a compact version, and they make a black version as well. And they've also added a 3-slot Picatinny rail. This was designed as a combat 1911 handgun. And obviously, if it's effective for the FBI, it would be effective for home defense. And we want to give a big thank you to Springfield Armory for sending the TRP 1911 for this review. Springfield Armory TRP, or Tactical Response Pistol. This is based on the FBI's Professional model, which was adopted in 1998. It has served the HRT, or the Hostage Rescue Team, which is one of the top anti-terrorist units in the world. It's used by the FBI SWAT and Super SWAT. There were certain features about the 1911 that they wanted, and a number of different companies submitted offerings, but the Springfield Armory Custom Shop is the one who executed that order. This is Springfield Armory's top tier production firearm. And one of the big things about this handgun is that it's been hand fitted to slide to frame. And that really makes it more reliable. It just gives it a very smooth glide. Also, the barrel to bushing is hand fitted. Parts of the slide, the contouring of the slide, is also hand fitted. So there's a lot of work that goes in to really making this optimal. One of the things that I thought was really cool is that for a production pistol is each of the parts are numbered to be married to this slide and frame. Now, the slide and frame are forged, which is a big advancement over just cast sliding frames. One of the big things is consistency with the heat treating all the way through the metal. It just makes it stronger. But Springfield Armory has offered their TRP line for a while, and these are some new additions to that line. First off, we have an shortened Picatinny rail. On one of the models it's really long, and then the other models they don't have a Picatinny rail. So this gives you that 3-slot pick rail to be able to add lights or lasers. And they also have their black model, which has the rail, and then they have their classic model, which does not have the accessory rail, and their contour carry model, which has a 4.25-inch barrel, so it's a shortened slide, a bobbed grip, and it's actually an aluminum alloy frame. So that's going to be excellent for concealed carry. And let's go ahead and make sure that the gun is unloaded. We're going to drop our 8-round magazine. It is a blued finish. These are actually Metgar mags, which make some of the best mags and make mags for a lot of different gun companies. But you also get 2 additional magazines. We're going to make sure the gun is empty and it's unloaded. We have a 5-inch barrel, which is your government size, and it is a hammer forged barrel. Of course, the Cerakote is going to give it really good corrosion resistance, and it's going to protect it. One of the things that's a big plus as well is the checkering. We have 20 lines per inch checkering, and this is something you typically don't see on production guns. And then the mainspring housing also has the 20 lines per inch. Now, the Hydra grips, they have a very nice texturing to them. It has the divots that come in between with those designs, and then it's very smooth right here. And I'll tell you guys, it's comfortable, but it does give you an aggressive bite to your hand. We have ambidextrous safeties, and they are extended. We have a really nice beaver tail that's high ride, comes up high, it gets you really high up near the bore axis, and we have a memory notch, skeletonized hammer, and we have a phenomenal trigger pull. We'll look at that in a minute. Now, the high ride beaver tail is a grip safety, and so it has to be depressed before you can pull the trigger. In fact, I can take and I can pull the trigger if I'm not depressing the grip safety, and it will not actuate the hammer. Once I engage the grip safety, of course, it will fire the handgun. This actually adds to safety. It's a passive safety. You just put your hand to it, depress it, and it's natural to fire the gun in that condition. And so this makes it actually a very safe handgun. And then with the hammer back, of course, we can put it in our cocked and locked position. Re-entering this into holsters, if you don't get a full grip and depress the safety, it makes it really safe. Reinsert into holsters. And to me, when I'm carrying a 1911, I carry it cocked and locked with a round in the chamber. Again, we have that 3-slot Picatinny rail that is abbreviated. We have 20 lines per inch on your slide stop. And we have the parts that are black that are accent parts. The bushing is fitted to the match barrel. And then we have a full-length guide rod. Now, when it comes to frame to slide fit, there is very little perceived movement between the two. But the barrel to bushing fit is the most important. And you can see, there is no play in that bushing to barrel. With the slide to frame fit toward the back, there is no perceived movement whatsoever. And again, that attests to the hand fitting of the slide to the frame. 3-dot night sights, and we have a nice cocking shelf here on the rear, and then here at the front it is dovetailed in. Then it has serrations all the way down the top of the slide. And guys, this is really finely executed. And not only does it look good, but it actually diffuses light off of your sights. It keeps the glare down. But the finish on this handgun is just exceptional. These have been hand finished along the back of the slide to frame fit, and it's been dehorned by hand. We have an extended mag well that's going to allow you to get those mags in really quick, and it also cuts down on slight errors when you're entering your mag. It gets them in there really quick, and they drop free. Flared and lowered ejection port. While the barrel shows up black, and that really matches the other parts of the gun, this is a forged stainless steel barrel. Slide serrations are spaced very well, and we have front serrations as well for those press checks. Slide to frame fit, you can feel it gliding just right over those slide rails. You can tell that this thing is really fitted well, and it's going to give it good reliability, but yet it's going to give it good accuracy. Very positive click on your safeties, and of course when you're firing you can use that extended safety as a gas pedal. Of course, your mag release, it's on one side, just like typical for your 1911s, and it can't be switched. Springfield Armory with the Canon logo just engraved right on the side, and then just TRP on the other side. It is a very clean look to this slide. Now we're going to take a look at the trigger action. This is the Gen 2 speed trigger from Springfield Armory, and it has just a touch of take up right to here. And then a really nice break. And reset right there. We're going to check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge. 3 pounds, 11.6 ounces. 3 pounds, 10 ounces. The 1911, typically, because it's single action, it has a really exceptional trigger pull. So what makes it single action? Well, if I enter a full magazine into the gun, and then I rack the slide and enter a round, now the hammer is in the rear position. So now we can take and engage our safety, and we can carry it like this, cocked and locked. And this makes it honestly very safe because of our grip safety. And so this just allows us to carry it, and we pull it out, drop the safety, and then fire the pistol. Subsequent shots will be in that rear position as well. And this makes it very consistent from the first to the last. You'll notice that there is no action to the hammer once you pull the trigger. The trigger actually trips the sear and drops the hammer. These have been used by the U.S. military from 1911 up until 1985 when the Beretta was accepted into the U.S. military. These are still being used in combat around the world, especially with elite teams. And the weight on the TRP full-size 1911. 43.08 ounces. Big thanks to Fiocchi for sponsoring our ammo, all made in the USA. One of the biggest suppliers of ammunition in the country. And also little loaders. Even with these single stack mags, it's very versatile. Springfield Armory TRP for tactical response pistol, based on the FBI's hostage rescue team's 1911, which Springfield Armory designed. And so this is pretty much the same handgun that the FBI was using. It's in this desert tan. I love these G10 grips. They're very grippable. Of course, it's in 45 ACP, and it has all the bells and whistles that make it a great tactical gun. Very reliable. We have had no malfunctions, which we typically don't with Springfield Armory 1911s. But if you want to put on your accessory rail, you've got it. You've got your mag well. Really high ride beaver tail. I mean, it just really rides up. Ambi controls on the safety. It's just a beautiful 1911. I'll tell you guys, there's just something about knowing that the FBI ordered this that put a lot of thought into it. And it makes it great for home defense. All right, for disassembly, drop our magazine, make sure the gun is empty. Now, before you start to disassemble, we do have our barrel bushing, but this is a two-piece full-length guide rod. So you're going to have to remove the guide rod first before you do any disassembly. We have a 5/32 hex wrench. Just put it in the end and then go ahead and just unscrew it. This does not have the hole that you put a tool through and all that kind of stuff. This is just straight up unscrewing the guide rod, and then it'll come out. Now we need to turn our barrel bushing, and then we'll depress our plug, or our recoil spring plug. So I'm going to use a tool because it's a little bit tight. We're going to bring it over to about 9 o'clock. Now hold that spring into place because it's under spring tension, and just let it go very slowly. Otherwise it will shoot across the room. Next we can just pull our spring all the way out. Now we can take our barrel bushing and we can turn it to about 5 o'clock and it'll come out. Now we can finish the disassembly. So just bring back your slide, and there's a small slot right here, and you want to line that up with your takedown tool, just like this. And then from the other side, we're just going to push it through when we get it lined up correctly. It is a little tight, but that's just part of this fitting together very well. There we go. Pull it out, and then we can take our slide and just move forward. Now your recoil guide rod, the back part, will still be there, so watch for it. And then just pull it out. We take our barrel link, and this one is a little bit tight, but they made it that way just to have a little more tight tolerances. And then we're just going to pull it out from the front of the barrel. Now with the slide, you have a polished area right here, and you'll notice the 906, and this is numbered for the receiver, which the last 3 digits are 906. But the machining and everything in here is very well executed. Here with the frame, very nice hand polished on the feed ramp, but overall very well done. Right here on the ejector we have 06 engraved into the ejector, so this has been hand fitted for this gun. Also with the barrel, 06. And that goes through a number of the different critical parts that go to making this just function very well. Some of the parts are not going to be engraved because they're really incidental as far as the fit and the function of the firearm. There are other parts inside the frame that are engraved, but we're not going to pull all that out. All right, for reassembly, we're going to take our slide and we're going to put our barrel back in from the front. You want to take that barrel link and you want to make sure that it is in the down position because that's where your slide stop goes through. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my barrel bushing and I'm going to put it into place. and then at like 5 o'clock, and that's how you can get it in, and then just turn it to 9 o'clock. Now I'm going to take the back half of my recoil guide rod, and then I'm going to take my recoil spring right through the front, and I'm going to place it just to go ahead and get that set. Next I'm going to go ahead and take my slide and put it back over the frame. You want to make sure that the link is lined up so it'll accept your takedown lever or your slide stop. Now I put it in first before I bring it all the way back, and just make sure that I've got it into place. Just like that. Now once I get this little crescent lined up, you want to raise your slide stop up. You don't want to scratch your frame. Again, we call that the idiot scratch. Now this is pretty tight, but we're going to take it underneath it, and I'm going to see if I can just get it right past that detent, just like that. And so now I have it into place, and I can let my slide go forward. Next I'm going to take the recoil spring plug, and I'm going to go ahead and compress it. Compress the spring, hold on to that, because if it goes flying, it's gone. Now I'm going to take my barrel bushing wrench, and I'm just going to go ahead and push, and I'm going to bring that around so it'll line up. It makes it a little easier. There's a sharp edge on this, and it's a little uncomfortable. Next we're going to take our guide rod, and we'll make sure that the end that has the hex goes in first, and we're going to just put it in, and next we're just going to start turning it. This is definitely a little different than a lot of the guide rods, but it gives you that full length. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. Now, actually my slide was popped back just a little bit, but now we're in good shape. Just make sure this is good and tight. Check for function, and we're back in business. A little different than some 1911s, but honestly, it's actually easier in some ways. Guys, the Springfield Armory TRP is definitely the pinnacle for Springfield Armory outside of their custom shop. The hand fitting, the parts that are designated specifically for each pistol. I mean, this is something you don't see with your standard production handguns. And of course, obviously that hand fitting does reflect in the price. These retail for $1,999. Again, it's the top tier of the Springfield Armory Production line. And that is retail, so in your local gun shop you can find it typically for a little bit less money. What are some pros and cons? Well, first off, I mean the hand fitting. And the tight tolerances of the handgun. I mean, checking the barrel to slide fit, it was just excellent. Parts are numbered when you're the critical parts, and so that gives you a lot of consistency with the handgun. They're not just throwing in parts out of a parts bin. Of course, you have your light rail, the VZ grips, excellent. High ride beaver tail, the sights, night sights, 3-dot, your mag well. I mean, all the different features that go into this, but honestly, that is in a lot of different 1911s. The big deal with the TRP is that it is hand-fitted, and so it's just going to give you better accuracy, better reliability, and it's just going to be a very smooth shooting gun, which this is. And I love that it does come in 45 ACP. But again, there are other models, the black, the classic without the rail, and then you have your carry contour models with the alloy aluminum frame and the 4.25-inch barrel, which make it a lot more concealable, and with the bob at the back. So it definitely gives you more choices with the TRP line. Guys, if you're a fan of the 1911, the TRP or Tactical Response Pistol by Springfield Armory makes a great choice. Again, based on the professional model that was ordered by the FBI for their hostage rescue teams. And so this definitely makes a great home defense option. Or if you're looking for a 1911 just to take out to the range, I mean the TRP may be overkill, but it's definitely a high quality handgun. And again, a big thank you to Springfield Armory for sending the TRP for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. pressure. And then we're going to release it like that. Give a big thank you to Fiocchi for the Springfield Armory TRP tactical response pistol. But there are some specific. But the FBI ordered some specific. But the FBI. Okay. It stands for Tactical Training. I know it doesn't. FBI used for their Hoscu. For their Hoscu. For their Hoscu. The FBI ordered for their Hoscu. For their Hoscu. Hoscu!
You're just trying to combine hostage and rescue together.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I wonder as I wander out under the sky, why poor ordinary creatures like you and like I